Hello everyone. Today, let us see how to efficiently transform or process XML data with Apache Hadoop and Apache Spark using hTRUNK. hTRUNK uses XPath with Spark to convert the XML to structured format, or row-column format for processing. The metadata entered helps us to create columns out of XML structure. These columns can then be used in the further components like any other structured input. In order to demonstrate XML processing, we need some data to work with. Today, I will be using a sample retail transaction dataset. The input XML contains transactions of one whole day for a store. There are n number of transactions in each input. Each transaction contains the product ID, amount, store ID and other details. Now, let us see how easily we apply transformation, or process the XML file on HDFS. Here we have the designer interface. As you can see, there are a good number of components to transform HDFS data. Today, I will concentrate on only components required to process XML data. Okay, let's get started by designing a new job. We'll name the new job as XML Retail Trends. The first component we need is to read the XML file on HDFS. To take the full advantage of Hadoop parallel processing, the data has to reside on HDFS. If the data resides on the local system, we can use copy from local component and get the file onto HDFS before the actual process. For this demo, I have already placed the file in HDFS. Before we actually configure the read component, we need to add the XML schema, or metadata for the XML to be processed. Let's now create a metadata for the input XML, and name it as Retail XML Schema. Add the root node of the XML, and the record node with all the child and attributes to them. As per the source XML, the root node is document. And the record node is transaction. The record node contains an attribute named ID. The node invoice state, store ID, customer ID, product ID and cost are the record node children. Now, save the schema. Once the data definition is in, we now need to configure the read component. Let's go back to the read component configuration, and select the source file, and select the schema created. Now, let us create columns for the XML structure. Column transaction ID, map to XML transaction record ID attribute. Column store ID, map to XML store ID node. Column product ID, map to XML product ID node. Column customer ID, map to XML customer ID node. Column cost, map to XML cost node of transaction. Now, with the input dataset, let us generate a summarized report for all the products sold in the store, categorized by product. We need group by component to generate the summary. add the component and configure it. Finally, add a component to write the results to the HDFS, and configure it. Let us name the output as Transaction Summary Report. Trigger the job and wait for completion. Check the output directory for the results. We see the total sales categorized by each product report generated. That's it! We saw how easily one can transform or process XML data with Hadoop and Spark using hTRUNK. Thank you.